Hello and welcome to Arn. That's right. It's Arn Live. This is so much fun. I love being here. This is Paul Bromwell today, as always, on the Four Horsemen Network and on One True Sport and streaming live Arn on your Twitter. I'm joined by the Hall of Famer, the founder of the Four Horsemen, creator of the Spine Buster, the 1A of tag team wrestling, and my tag team partner. Yes, I'm very proud to say that. He's the enforcer. He's double A. He's Arn Anderson. Arn, how are you?
Well, we always try to keep everything lighthearted, positive. Sometimes you have some negatives that you need to address, and I think today's one of those days, Paul.
It is, Arn. We got some news earlier today of Sika. The wild Samoan Sika, also Roman's dad, has passed away, 79 years old today. Won the WWF Championship 1983. And Arn, any fond memories of Sika?
Well, I mean, just like everybody else, I was in all of them, just like everybody else was. You're talking about two killers. They were two killers, big time, man. I mean, great tag team, just had that presence of, oh God, I hate to see my name against those on a lineup somewhere. But the reality is they started something, and throughout the years, all of their family descendants, I've often said, the island boys are the salt of the earth. If they're your friend, they will absolutely lay down and die for you. Some of the greatest talents that this business has ever seen, and just all around good guys and ladies for that matter. It was just one of those things. Now 79 that's a nice life, and God knows, in wrestler years, that's really a nice life. So I just want to say respect to the family, much respect, condolences. So sorry for your loss. And we're all praying for you. And just thanks to the contributions that you've made to the business that have allowed us to come along behind and benefit. So thank you.
Sure. For sure. Legendary tag team champs in 83, Hall of Fame 2007. Arn, they went into the Hall of Fame the same year as Dusty Rhodes. But now it's not only the impact on wrestling, and we can continue to see it this day with the bloodline and their family. And they trained wrestlers for a long time, had a school here local to me, really, Allentown, 45 minutes down the road. And so just a tremendous impact. But again, to your point, the family and what they're going through today. So definitely our condolences go out to Sika's family for sure.
God bless.
Well, Arn, we are going to move on. This is one of our most fun episodes that we do here once a month. It is Ask Arn Anything, and folks, people are lining up in the chat. We have members that are just here putting in tons of great questions. I want to encourage you to use the super chat function. All questions are impossible, but we want the super chat function. Listen, Arn's contract at AEW is over. It's expired. We've addressed that. He's on the circuit. But, man, anything that you can do to help contribute and help take care of our man, that's the super chat. There's an ability for you to do that, and we will get to those questions as top priority. So I would ask that you use the super chat. For those that may be watching live on Twitter, jump on over to the YouTube channel. That way you can jump into the chat as well, and we can take advantage of making sure we get your question in as well. So I wanted to say that up top, and we'll let that build for a little bit. The question queue, I can see tons of questions coming in. But again, let's do that. Yes, someone just came in. Holy shit, it's Arn Anderson. That's right, live and in color. We are in the Arn Anderson's living room, as we like to say, don't we, Arn? The virtual living room of Arn Anderson at this point.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I do.
It works for me.
Hey, listen, real quick before we get into answering all your questions for the next 55 minutes, I want to mention onetruesport.com. And no, this isn't just to talk about why you should become a member, because hell yeah, you should become a member. For our traveling champions, we had a one-of-a-kind exclusive experience last night with someone that Arn likes to call Chicken. And Arn, somebody's already asked in the chat why his nickname's Chicken. We'll get there. But Dustin Rhodes joined us last night for over an hour and was so just accommodating, endearing, took time answering questions, spent time with each and every person. There was topics from his early days in WCW working with you, to his street fight with Roddy Piper at WrestleMania, to what he's been doing with AEW, and even training the next generation of stars. He even got into a conversation with one of our members, Zoll, just about recovery and everything that he's done to come back from the drug and alcohol. It was an hour that I'll never forget. It's available now to our traveling champion tier, so check it out. But when you go over to onetruesport.com, we have been upgrading the merch store really over the past 5 days with more and more stuff, including the Horseman store, which, Arn, I know you're excited about this. We got the Horseman tank tops you've been asking about. We've got the gym shorts that you've been asking about. There's some hats over there now. In your personal store, we have some new shirt designs. There's a nice maroon one with established in 1982 without white lettering. I'm telling you, it's like you and Ole's old school trunk color, that t-shirt with the white writing. It's sharp, and I can't wait for our folks to check out. But more importantly, and then I'll let you talk about it, your Hall of Fame shirt, which originally we did a pre-order on. We took off the pre-order, and so we need to get that in people's hands now. So if you want his Hall of Fame shirt, you want to rock that within the next week or so, you can order Arn's Hall of Fame shirt, which lists every company he worked for at the bottom. JD Hoop designed it, and it is a one-of-a-piece t-shirt that you want to get your hands on. Arn, I know you're a big fan of some of the merch that we have over there.
Yeah, I think the concentration is quality over quantity, and top grade t-shirts to begin with, top grade designs to go right behind it, and stuff that's functional for our fans. And I'm really proud of the work you've done, Paul, because you have worked your butt off, and I can't thank you enough. You are more than just an equal partner. You are about 2/3 of this outfit. And I appreciate you very much.
Well, I love you, buddy. And it's all, I want to make sure that I also talk about Dominic D'Angelo and Marcus D'Angelo and JD Hoop when it comes to the store. And we have a secret weapon behind the scenes as well. But the effort, the designs, we're all rowing the boat together as a team. And that's what I love about One True Sport. It's not a one-man show. It is a total team effort where the collaboration and the working together is one goal, and we're really putting in a lot of effort. And it's for all you right here in this chat right now. They're listening to my voice. It's for the fans, man, and we're fans. And if we like it, we're hoping that you like it too. But it's giving you more of the folks like Arn, like Dustin, like Magnum TA, like Tully Blanchard. Now I feel like I'm about ready to cut a Crockett promo. I'm getting so fired up. But that's what it's all about, Arn. And speaking of Crockett, how about this for a segue? And Charlotte and Crockett Country, buddy, you were just there at Heroes Con, right in your backyard. Talk to us about how your past weekend was at the Charlotte Convention Center.
Well, that group of folks at the cons, the comic cons, that's a different world than professional wrestling. But they have been so gracious and so kind, and this was my first time, believe it or not. Now, this has been going on for years, and I think even decades, this particular Comic-Con. And this is our first time being there, if you can believe that. But I see it because I just now came out with the comic book, and that is the segue into getting into these shows. And those people were so gracious, treated us so nice, and they were wrestling fans, a lot of them. And Brock and I had 3 days of up 20 minutes across town after the gym, early rising, 20 minutes across town, 7 or 8 hours of meeting the fans and signing autographs and books and stuff, and just people watching. And 7 or 8 hours the first couple of days, and then about 6 hours the third day. So we were there full days, but it was a short trip back home. We don't have those in our business. 3 days in a row where you're back and forth to the house in 20, 25 minutes, unheard of. So thank you to those folks.
My buddy Ashley Hutchins, who reached out to me and said, I made it to Charlotte and I got a good picture with Brock. He sent me the picture. He's the one who you met in West Virginia, Arn, whose wife had passed away. He made it down to Charlotte too and got a picture with Brock again. So said it was cool to see you there.
wonderful person.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm honored to have met him, and so sorry for his loss.
Listen, he's a great guy, and he's just one of the many, like many of you here, that have had the opportunity to meet Arn. You know how special it is. So we do a lot of that every top of the show, as far as advertising where he is and where he's going to be. Why? Because he wants to shake your hand and take a picture with you and share some stories. So make sure you take advantage of it. Arn, you're going to be at ACW Wrestling in Hagerstown this Friday, aren't you? June 28th.
I certainly am. Thankful that they invited me up. And it should be, as always, Baltimore crowds are top 10, I would say, across the country, maybe if not even across the world and it's not going to be right in Baltimore, but I got a feeling we're going to get a lot of Baltimore fans.
Sure.
And they really have supported us and have been great over the years. And can't wait to see everybody and say hello. Mr. Ellsworth, young fella, I'll be there to see you soon.
There you go. And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to hang out long enough for the crab cake joint. So,
no, another time maybe.
All right. Because you move on down the road, move on down the Benton Convention Center in Winston-Salem on June 30th. And that's on Sunday. CW, Brock, defending those tag titles. You're going to be doing a signing, man. AML is taking care of you guys. You enjoy working there. And I know you're looking forward to that one.
Yep, those guys, Brock and CW, are the tag champions, and it's been a great experience for Brock, just learning from CW, and he has been so gracious with his time, meeting a couple of times at different places. Once, just a couple of days ago in Greensboro, we went up on Sunday and worked around at one of their schools up there, and Brock has been going over to Lodi School where he broke in and been getting some reps in over there. So we're very gracious to everybody that is helping in this process. So awesome. Hello? Paul, you froze on me. Hello, hello, hello. Well, folks, if you're seeing me, Paul is frozen.
Am I back now, Arn? I feel like I'm back.
Yes, you were unfrozen. You were froze for a minute.
My goodness. All of a sudden you were talking about very gracious for Lodi and Brock in the school, and it just everything, all the lights shut out. I don't know what happened.
I thought it was kind of cool. That's live TV.
That's as live as you're gonna get right here, live Wi-Fi, or like as the family calls it here, shitternet going on right here in the house. Well, let's keep it moving then. July 8th, Lucky Horseshoes AAA baseball. Arn, remember you said you're not going to be eating, but it's $45 all you can eat from everybody that does, and they get to meet you for 2 hours, and that's in Springfield, Illinois. And this is after the July 4th nice long weekend, which I hope you have a good time celebrating Independence Day. But I know you're excited to get to this baseball game.
I love baseball. I'm a huge Braves fan. I hope that's not a conflict of interest, but that's the way it is. I've always been a Braves fan, but I like baseball. So those guys will be eating, I'm sure. I'll just kind of be roaming around and visiting and signing and taking pictures, and I'll eat later when all the fun stuff's over with.
One more, and then we're coming to the questions. And Scott Georgia popped me in the chat. The Wyatt 6 got to Paul. Yeah, we had a little commercial interruption from the Wyatt 6. That's awesome. July 18th through 20th, we are reuniting. You're going to have Aaron and Brock with you for a very special event. Arn, you're going into, as I mentioned about your shirt that's available right now, the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Brock, I believe, is going to be inducting you, and you are going in that Friday night. Brock's going to wrestle Wes Briscoe on Saturday night. You're in Brock's corner. Jerry's in Wes' corner. But talk to us about what that weekend really means to you.
Well, as it turns out, it's a family weekend, which over the years, when I could ever get one of those, whether it be WrestleMania weekend or any other weekend, something that includes your job, but includes your family on an equal level, at least, that's always great. and to have Brock and Aaron with me. I'm so honored to be inducted into this, Hall of Fame. It's for me. I'm pretty, I don't even know what the word is, but I'm a little tentative to consider myself being worthy to be in any Hall of Fame, because to me that's about a body of work over a long course of time, to where excellence has been the final result, I guess, of your career. And I don't know if I actually deserve to be in that Hall of Fame. That's a shooter Hall of Fame. But I'm certainly honored that they would consider me, and hopefully the contributions that I have made to the business have helped some young guys out there, and help them excel in their craft. And if that's the case, and that's what I'm being honored for, I think it was about contributions to the wrestling business.
Yeah.
I'll certainly take it.
Buddy, and not only that, not only are you being honored, here's two other guys that I know are going to be there. Tony Schiavone and Tom Pritchard, Dr. Tom. I mean, come on. You talk about three all-time legends. When I got to talk to Tony a little bit, because I was helping with just some travel plans, and he said, Paul, did I hear it right that Arn's going to be there? I said, Tony, Arn, Aaron, and Brock are all going. And he said, that is tremendous, back in the text. So I know he's looking forward to seeing you.
And he's bringing his whole crew.
He is. He's bringing Aunt
well.
Granny, his wife, and three of his kids.
So it's going to be excellent. Tom Pritchard is also being honored.
Dr. Tom's being honored as well.
In the trainer capacity, right?
Yes. I mean, so this is going to be so much fun, guys. If you can make it, try to get there. And listen, I'm hoping, I know I'm going, but I'm hoping to record some stuff, exclusively putting it on our YouTube channels for you guys to get some footage. So that's on my homework. Marcus may be tagging along with me, D'Angelo, to help me with that. But could you imagine we'll get some, be able to record your speech or do some things like that. We're going to try our darndest to make sure we're there live and getting some really cool stuff for the Four Horsemen Network, maybe even some behind the scenes stuff for our One True Sport members, because that's what it's all about, right? We want to do some of that special stuff that nobody else gets to kind of have access to. So stay tuned for that, because we're excited about that event.
If you can't be there, hopefully some of these clips will make you feel like you are there. And if we can do that, that's part of being part of the family.
Giving you the experience. I love it. Part of the family. Let's do it. Let's jump in. This show, like I said, is for you guys. And so we're going to start with our super chats. As I told you guys, these are huge. These really go a long way. And this is, to me, this is the ultimate support of Arn and his career. So I want to say thank you. Eddie, you start us off. You said, my question's near the top. I grabbed your question. And Eddie Prather, we'll put it on the screen. He says, Arn, what were the plans if Tully had been able to return to you to WCW? Would Sting ever been brought in as a horseman? Now, again, this is a long time ago, and this is a what if. But do you remember if there was even got that far for plans? Was it automatic that you two would be back together again as a tag team?
Well, I think if Tully would have came on board, we could have paused it right there and not had to add anybody for quite a while. We could have resurrected the horsemen that they remember and been very selective who that next person would have been. Because Tully was just, when you think of the horsemen, a lot of people just say, like we all feel, it's hard to top the first of anything. And for Tully to come back and have he and Rick and myself together, who knows where it could have went from there.
It was, I was talking, we had Tully on the channel a few weeks back, and he brought it up and he made a comment, just disappointed of how that all worked out, especially for you. And I just thought that was powerful for him to share that story as far as his impact on all of that with the contract and everything, because we've talked about it here on this show as we went through the history. But it just seems like for him, that whole change in his life really changed the whole direction of his life. He went off and, he got involved in ministry and just really became a different person. And so in some ways it was probably the best for him, because that he never maybe would have been pushed that way. So
entirely possible. It's hard to say.
Yep,
It certainly impacted his career for
for sure.
sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Arn, I cannot thank this next gentleman enough. Riddler 3579 $20 super chat. When NWA, and I just thank you so much for your gift there, Riddler 3579. When NWA WCW came to my hometown, I always saw Arn at the gym. He was friendly with the folks working out. He chatted with fans, provided autographs, and took a few pictures with the fans. He doesn't have a question. He just says, "Thank you, Arn, for being so cool."
What town was that?
Riddler, if you can let me know what town that was, that's a great question. But it's so funny though, as I'm reading what he has here to share, all I want to think about is the viral picture from years ago, how the kid showed up to your house with a belt asking for your autograph.
I think that's kind of a different. That's different than just running into somebody at the gym and
Oh
having
my
all that.
God.
Uh, yeah, I just wish I remembered exactly what led up to that. What was the couple of days or few days before that?
Sure. Riddler, if you remember, throw it in the chat. I'm back over here in the main chat to find it. I'll bounce back over. I'm going to go back over to the super chat while we wait for him to respond, because we got another super chat from Mark Webster. Mark, thank you very much. He says, Arn, can we get a good Harley race story?
I was never traveling with Harley, but let me tell you what Harley meant to the business and the way he felt about the boys in the business when he was managing Vader, and we would go to Kansas City or somewhere really close. His wife BJ would cook for the entire crew. If we were going to be in Kansas City, I mean, she would barbecue just unbelievable amounts of ribs, Boston butts, steaks, and would invite all the guys over, and all the guys would go over because, Harley Race, number one, has invited you to his home for dinner. That's number one. You get there as quickly and graciously as you possibly can. But what a cook. BJ was an incredible cook. Harley grilled. He did all the grilling. All the boys would come over, and it was just a nice break. And no matter what the loop was or how long you'd been out, or just, if you'd only been out a day or two, getting to go to Harley's home was incredible. That's the kind of person he was, and he loved the business.
And when you talk about the wife just making all this great food, having the boys over, that has got to be so like something to look forward to. It's like, man, I
Oh,
can't wait
yeah.
to go to Harley's house.
It was special. And it's something you talked about years later. I
Sure.
mean, guys didn't do that, if they did, a lot of guys kind of went their own way when the match was over with. I don't know how that would have been if someone else was trying to put it together and have it. But when Harley said, "Hey guys, coming over after the show," it's all that needed to be said.
Such fond memories, great memories for you, Arn. And thank you for sharing that with us. Riddler 3579 got back to us. He said, Arn, Jacksonville, Florida, the gym on Dunn Avenue.
Yep. My very, very good friend, Diamond Dave Yarbrough, used to pick us up when we would land. We'd go check in. And God bless Dave, by the way. He's had some health issues, but we're still very, very good friends. He lives down in Jacksonville, but he would take us to that gym. Excellent gym. They treated us incredible. It was maybe an exit or two, 3 or 4 miles from where we stayed, which was out by the airport. So, yeah, I mean, everyone was awesome, and they were so respectful. All the people in there working out. It was my pleasure to meet everybody.
Man, that's great. Such fun, great memories. Eric Tate jumped in early. Arn, how come WCW Saturday Night was never live? It was always taped. I'm just assuming financial reasons, production reasons, things of that nature, just easy for them to knock out a few episodes at a time.
At least 2, right? And because things weren't going to change that drastically, so it was, you could do without it. There's a lot of risk in doing live TV. because if it's live, and I mean live, things can happen that you can't go back and fix. So it was just always better, I think, to have at least one show taped, if not two.
There you go. And the power of post production. I got to say, I recently went to the AEW Allentown show, and I watched the matches all take place. Then you get back, you watch it on TV, and you're like, "Oh, they hid that. This match was first when we were there, but now it's the main event." And the complete reorder, the commentary, all the post production work. It was almost like rewatching a brand new show. It's amazing what they can do.
Yeah, and it's a safeguard to protect, slip ups and botches.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're called botches these
Botches.
days.
You got it, buddy.
That's how you protect the talent.
Yeah, well, they did a phenomenal job with that stuff, trust me. But anyway, all right, we keep moving. CB, who is obviously a belt fan, belt mark. I am as well. I got a few on my shelf, including, it's kind of faded out back here, but your red NWA TV title. Dave Milliken made the one that I have. Very popular belt maker. He said, Arn, what was your favorite championship that you won? And do you have a favorite championship design?
Well, the red TV title is just because I have so much time invested in it, so many title defenses. It provided a vehicle to be in a lot of very highly impactful matches and angles, and it meant something. The world television title meant something, and it meant something to me. And if you look at the list of television champions, it's, you had Tully Blanchard, you had, Steven Regal, you had some guys, that, myself included, that took a lot of pride in being the television champion. And I guess I would have to say that that's got a place in my heart.
That's cool. And as you can tell, I'm a mark, and the guys that produce this show are for that. That's our layout here as you're watching it on. It's the red leather concept of that championship title with the stars and kind of the plate here that I have on my chest. It's similar to what we have for our design and overlay for the show. So big fans of that title belt for sure. We have some super chats, so I'm bouncing back over to this section of the chat coming in, and so we're going to throw those on the screen. Arn, first from Sean Plicta. He says, Arn, I truly appreciate all you've done for wrestling. Share some thoughts about Barry Windham, please, because he's very underappreciated as a worker.
You got to understand mechanics. Barry Windham was probably, 6'6",
yeah,
maybe 240, 250. He was a big guy. He was not a small guy, and he was not a weight room guy. He didn't go to the gym and lift weights. He just had that Jack Mulligan genetics that he was strong enough to pick up the Road Warriors, do a side suplex, do a front suplex. I mean, he was strong enough to pick up anybody. He could superplex Van Vader off the top rope, but he moved so effortlessly, like a Brad Armstrong, smooth. He just had it all, and he was a handsome guy. The girls loved him. The grandmothers, the grandfathers loved him. The kids loved him. Right. The boys loved him.
Everybody loved him.
I mean, there was no downer where Barry Windham was concerned. He was just somebody that if you were choosing a crew, he would be one of your top 5 guys. If you were putting a wrestling company together, hey, I want that guy certainly on my team.
I think too, for us, especially as we reflect back and watch more of the old school wrestling, us nostalgia fans that reflect back and are going back, and now we have access to things like YouTube and the network and Peacock and all that. You go back and you watch him now, and you even find that you have an even more of an appreciation for him and what he brought to the ring and his skill set than you did maybe as a kid necessarily watching him, right? Good guys, bad guys, who you hated, who you cheered, hellacious promos, maybe crazy angles, but for the appreciation of the wrestling ability now, looking at it through more of a mature lens, a longer time wrestling fan as we've all gotten older, you're like, man, Arn, to your point, he was so good, so smooth, and could do it all. And I wish we did appreciate, to your point, Sean, who asked the question, I wish we did appreciate him more like we should because he was phenomenal.
Yeah, no joke. I dare say, Barry never had a bad match.
Mm.
I mean, he could bring a guy that was green or young up to a certain level that he had never been brought up before. He could be competitive with that guy and make him look better than what he actually was. He didn't have any flaws in his work whatsoever.
So good. So good. We got more super chats rolling in. Guys, you are just crushing it tonight. Thank you all very much. And these are traveling champions from One True Sport. Now, members, Mike Parker, great to see you, was with us for the Dustin chat last night. He said, Arn, as a collector, I'm curious what you think are some of the coolest items that fans have brought to get signed. Maybe something you haven't seen in a long time, or maybe never saw before or thought of, and you're like, wow, this is pretty cool, and I can't wait to sign it.
Not so much things to be signed, but I tell you what, and this happened, what are the odds of this happening? One of the last signings, and I don't think it was Charlotte. I think it was prior to that, but 2 in one day, which I couldn't believe. And what are the odds of this happening? 2 guys pulled up their sleeve and they had a 4 horseman tattoo.
Oh, man.
2 in one day. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but when you make a commitment like getting a tattoo for anything that you're laughing, tattoos tell a story of a lot of people's lives. That's why they get them. There's a deeper meaning than just what you see.
Sure.
I thought that was the coolest thing. I went,
that's a forever thing, man.
My God, you're the first one in a long time and then it's, whoa, wait a minute. There was a guy earlier here that had one of these too. What are the odds of that? And I'm flattered like you would not believe, the fact that you thought enough of us to put something on there that was really, truly for life.
That's some serious commitment. I'll never forget. And Mike, you have some of these. When I found back in the day, and I have one sitting near me, and I'm sure I have the other one, but the old Jim Crockett Memorial Cup programs that were pretty cool from the Crockett Cup, and I have the black and red one. I think that might be 86 or 87. But having you guys sign some of them, I'll never forget when Ricky Morton, this is several years ago, was like, oh man, the program, and he took it over to Robert Gibson, then he took it over to another Crockett guy, and it kind of made me as a fan like, whoa, this is pretty cool. He's really digging this. But it is, I love the question because and I'm sure there's so many guys that have outstanding collections, and I can't imagine what some of these folks have from back in the day. I often think it would be so cool to find some of the vintage T-shirts or the scarves or some of the stuff that you can't find or can't be replicated anymore from those times, from the Crockett era. Obviously, I'm a mark for the Jim Crockett Promotions era because there wasn't much merch back then, if any at all. Definitely no action figures, but you had a couple T-shirts here and there. The Four Horsemen had a T-shirt at one point with all of you on it, and the Rock and Roll Express had a shirt.
But that wasn't right away. That wasn't available right away.
No.
It.
You guys could have been multi-millionaires if you had merch going back then.
If we would have had the presence of mind to have been smart. But the thing about it is we didn't collect stuff. In those days, we were doing incredible business. We were traveling our brains out. It was like plow straight ahead, plow forward, get to the next town. We got another 10,000 people waiting on us. Plow to the next town. We got 7 waiting on us.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
We should have stopped and paused at some point and went, you know what? This program that I'm looking at and this card.
The turnbuckles. People will buy turnbuckles
someday. People are going to want to see this. I'm going to want to see this 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Turnbuckles, just like you said. I mean, it's like the things that we never even thought about as collectibles because it was like this. If you want to take care of your family, if you want to take care of the company, want to take care of yourself, You went out there and you gave them the best match that was possible in the wrestling business, and that was your only focus.
This was light years ahead of the time before there were padded themed pay-per-view chairs in the front few rows. Okay. Back in those days, you just hope those chairs held up for, Fatty Bromwell when he came to sit down on them. That was the only goal that you were hoping. It wasn't all this other stuff that we're light years ahead of where we were back then.
Wish we would have had some foresight, to hung on to some of that stuff.
Oh, so good. All right, Darren Staley, traveling champion, One True Sport, my buddy, my pal. He's given us a super chat. I saw someone on Twitter saying someone should bring back the original Gourd Buster. Also, I have memories of the Gourd Buster, including a top rope bounce, but the Brain Buster kind of took over. Thoughts? Did you ever use the Gourd Buster with the top rope bounce? I know the slingshot suplex Tully did had that top rope bounce. Did your Gourd Buster? Do you ever remember doing one with the bounce to it?
I don't remember doing one because, again, in those days, just in the ring, up and down,
Straight down
was enough. You didn't need any top rope. Now, we did a double one, which would be me sitting on the top turnbuckle. Tully would feed the guy up to me, push his legs up, step out of the way, and I would come off and the whole pile would go down. That was the tag version of it.
But, I like that. I like that tag version.
I think it works.
Yeah.
But again, in those days, if you just did the single one, if you did it right, it worked too.
I want, and to your point, Darren, I want to see the Gourd Buster come back. The Gourd Buster, DDT, and your Spawn to the Pond, the Spawn Buster, just your 3 trademarks, Arn. We need a shirt that's Spawn Buster, Gourd, and DDT. Maybe we'll even throw in Glock. But like those, that's what you're known for, buddy.
The Glock.
Armed Anderson. Man, whoever thought that would take off for you in your late 50s, early 60s?
Well, let me just tell you something on a very serious note. In this time, with all the junk going on at the border and all that.
Oh, yeah.
The Glock is not a bad idea.
Don't come messing with AA, buddy.
Never a victim, and we all have a right to protect our family and our home, period.
There's another shirt, Arn Anderson, ... never a victim. All right, we got another super chat. Here it comes. Reggie the Tree. Reggie's back, man. He's been faithful watching us live here. Who was better, Buddy Landell or Brad Armstrong?
Buddy Landell was a better character, probably was entertaining as he possibly could be. Brad Armstrong was from just a quality work standard, probably was the better worker.
No doubt about it. I mean, Brad Armstrong, you've talked about so many times. If you guys have been able to listen to the archives of this show, so much quality material on Brad and your thoughts on him and his wrestling ability. Go back and watch early WCW. Again, to me, he's another guy that you reflect back now as an older wrestling fan who truly appreciates the sport, the one true sport of professional wrestling. And he's the man. He was the man, Arn.
If I could have wrestled Brad Armstrong every night, dare I say, as silly as this may sound, I could still be wrestling. That's how good he was, how smooth, how safe, all those things that he just was incredible, man. Just have to ask somebody that was in the ring with him and they'll verify it. I dare say you can't find anybody that won't say, my God, Brad was good. But Buddy Landell is for a character. The boys would actually watch him have a match because he was so entertaining.
And Rick never really minded about Nature Boy, him being Nature Boy?
There was a huge match and a huge program and angle down the road had things not worked out for Buddy like they did with Flair. Because he was one of the guys that could be disrespectful to Rick and people would get pissed and they would pay to see Rick kick buddy's ass.
Love it. Guys, if you want to get your question in with 20 minutes left, super chat them. I'm telling you, that's the best way. I'm going to start back at the top. Arn, Wrestling says, how do you describe your pre-match routine back in those wrestling days? What did that look like?
Boy, just make sure you stretch out. Take at least a half hour, maybe 40 minutes, and just find you a place, take your towel, find you a place backstage, and just get your head into what you were planning on doing, and just make sure you stretch out. And that's one thing I never left out, was to stretch it. Not that I was going to do any over the top rope stuff or any of that, but any athlete will tell you every pulled hamstring they've ever had, or a lot of meniscus tears, or a lot of knee issues or low back, come from not warming up properly. And if you come through the curtain, you've already got your sweat going, you're already stretched out, you're ahead of the game.
Arn, we're going to transition to a fun question, and I'm going to try to go rapid fire here to get as many as I can in. Italian says, Arn, have you ever eaten a horseshoe? And do you plan on partaking in the horseshoe buffet on your visit to Springfield, Illinois, July 8th? I cannot wait. Now, Arn, do you know what it is? Because if not, I pulled it up to read it to you.
Am I going to eat a horseshoe?
Open-faced sandwich originating in Springfield, Illinois, consists of thick sliced toasted bread, a hamburger patty, French fries, and cheese sauce.
If you know me, you know about that cheese thing.
I lost him at cheese, guys.
Got it.
That sounds good, right? You put a little French fries on the burger and that thick toast? No.
Let's reiterate. A burger needs to be cooked medium, just like any beef. It needs to be a little bit pink, crispy bacon, light mayonnaise, some raw onion, and that's all you need. You don't keep the fries on the side, and if they're crunchy, salt and pepper them down just a touch. Get you some ketchup on the side for dipping, and you're off and running.
Arn, a big topic lately has been, and I don't know if you've been watching, the death of WCW. Have you been watching that series?
I have.
Well, just because I know there's some multiple questions throughout as Dustin. Thoughts? Who killed WCW? I asked Dustin this last night. I'll tell you his answer. And he said, AOL merger, period, in his mind. What are your thoughts, this whole series?
There was just too many people high up in the company. And that's a good point. The merger, it just strengthened AOL. But the fact was, from day one, I think there were a lot of people sitting in the big offices at Turner that just went, wrestling. Yeah. Why would we buy wrestling? Because I was there all except for the first year or so. And the guys worked their ass off. And you had a lot of very talented guys that, as far as the match quality, you had a lot of guys really busting their ass to try to be successful. But I think, when you have the people that control the purse strings, and there were so many things that went on behind the scenes that I had no idea, was not privy to, was none of my business. And I just think some of the suits made the decision right away that first time this thing slips, we're going to can it, as long as we got something to use as an example, maybe. And here's the reason. We told you we didn't like it. Okay, now here's why. I think it was more on the front office than it was the actual crew of talent and production people and all that. They didn't want us.
Yeah, what do they always say in business or whatever? Starts at the top. If you don't have strong leadership, if you don't have leadership that believes in you, whatever the case may be, I don't care if you're in wrestling, I don't care, whatever all of you do. If you don't have strong leadership and leadership that believes in you and sets boundaries and structure for talent, workers, whoever, It's just it's the foundation made out of sand. Listen, this chat is cracking me up. Hawkeye mash. Now I'm hungry. Listen to Professor Arn about cheese on burgers. Darren Staley says it better have Duke's mayo. And so a lot of people popping in about the food. It's so funny. We got a couple super chats that I want to get to as well. Buddy, he's jumps in with a super chat. Man, appreciate you guys so much tonight. Really do. Arn, did you ever wrestle at the Cincinnati Gardens? If so, what's your thoughts on that place?
Many times. Very good. It was loud. Acoustics were good. It was not lit up the whole arena. There was like so many rows ringside were lit up, and then it got dark. It was a great atmosphere. Cincinnati Gardens, and we did well there.
Yeah. Mark Webster back again, man. Thank you so much for your support, buddy. He said, what if? Here you go. You love your what ifs, Arn. You got to pick one to be in the Horsemen, Dusty Rhodes or Harley Race.
Boy, Dusty would have brought a lot of charisma to that, wouldn't he?
He would have, but like I feel like Harley would have been that Ole role.
Yeah, yeah, I thought about that too, but maybe we had already seen that with Ole.
But then would you have had Dusty and Flair competing for the mic?
Man, there's so many what ifs.
I know, man. That's a good one.
You know, and it might have been so good, those two stronger characters on the same promo, that might have left me out.
Yeah, would you have even had 10 seconds to say anything?
It might not have made it around to me, and I'm
up. Talk to you later.
Yeah, okay. Boom. And we're done.
Cut.
And I definitely want my promo time just like everybody else.
Oh man, that popped me. So good. Oh, Reggie's back. Our guy Reggie, that was good. Great question, by the way. If Brad had Buddy's gift of gab, he would have been the GOAT.
You better believe it. That was the only thing missing. I've said before, and this is not a knock. Brad tried to pattern himself after his dad, Bob, and Bob pulled it off because Bob was all man. He's a grown-ass man, and Brad tried to be that same southern-bred, thoroughbred promo, and it just didn't fit him. Had his mic skills been a little bit sharper, or maybe had his own character in mind to go with the skills that he had, and people forget Brad was in shape. He looked good.
He certainly did, man. He had the ability. He should have never been the Candy Man. I'm not even going to try to imitate Tony Schiavone's version of the Candy Man. It's hilarious. CG, I see you here with us. CG Ortiz, longtime fan. He said, I like the NWA TV title, just like Paul's shirt. One of my favorite belts. Big fan of it. Guys, get your questions in. Use the super chat. I got plenty here, so I'm just gonna. Oh, they want to know, and I need to get to it because I saw it. I promised at the top of the show that I would. Let me give credit where credit is due. Heather Whitley. Heather, another member of One True Sport. Appreciate your support. This is an obvious question after last night. How did Dustin get the name Chicken?
And it is up to Dustin to tell you how he got it.
Tell us. He said, I have a story, but it's not PG. I'm not sharing it here.
No, and it's up to him to tell it. I'm not telling it.
Okay. Sorry,
okay.
Heather.
Sorry, there's some boundaries you don't cross. If he wants to tell it, it's certainly up to him.
We're going to get it out of these guys. Hey, by the way, for all of you that are not members, another reason to become a member, Dustin and I texted after last night. He said next time he comes on, Arn, he wants it to be the three of us. Are you game?
Be wonderful.
Yeah.
And you know what? I haven't even said thank you to him yet for doing the show. Dustin, thank you. You know how I feel about your family and yourself, and having the Rhodes on our show is just, it's huge. And it is not lost on us.
No, not at
just
all.
How huge. So thank you very, very much.
The members, I've been hearing feedback from the members. We have a Discord channel where they all talk and stuff, and just said how great and fun last night was. He had no pauses. It was a 5-minute answer for everybody who asked the question, and it was so good, and I can't put it over enough. Horseman store, Darren Staley. No, we are not adding horseman thongs. Sorry. Maybe it's never going to get that hot. I don't think, Arn, that we put those up.
I don't even think that you you don't even get to go to court on something like that. They just put you in prison. There's not a trial. There's nothing. Just
you just go straight to jail. Don't even collect $200.
Just
get them cheeks in jail and forget it. The logo wouldn't even fit. I mean, that logo's pretty big for the Four Horsemen. I mean, look at it. You think that's fitting on a thong? Maybe
absurd.
If the African Dream's wearing the thong, I don't know what's going on.
It is absurd.
Let's see. Arn, what was your favorite Hawkeye mash? We'll go to you. Hawkeye says, "Hey, Arn, what was your favorite version of the Four Horsemen?"
I've said this many times. I think it's hard to top something that is very successful if it's a first. So I think Ole, that version, that's the one that got over. But I think if from a performance standpoint, if you're a fan buying a ticket, you're sitting there, the Barry Windham version was the best performing group.
I love it. And I would agree with you. Antonio is with us all the way from Scotland. Good evening from Scotland. Did Arn ever wrestle my favorite wrestler, Rick Martel?
Yes. Matter of fact, it was WrestleMania. If you go back and look at WrestleMania 5, it was Tully and myself against Martel and
Tito. Okay.
And that's where during that match, Martel turned heel.
That's right.
So there was an angle in that match.
Oh, look at that memory. You're still good, Arn.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a big deal. It's my one and only WrestleMania to wrestle in. And I was so honored to be out there with those guys. They were a great team. And to be able to do an angle during the confines of that match. Cool.
I see a guy in the chat right now that just popped me, and it's because I've asked so many questions for you over time, Adam Krasnov, and here you are, and I cannot wait for you to become a One True Sport member. No pressure. Adam Krasnov's with us tonight. He said, "Arn, how did you come up with your signature cutthroat taunt that you did each time you came to the ring?"
I don't know.
Really?
It's one of those things that I don't know. It just felt nasty. Felt like it sent a message without saying a word.
It did. And not only that, who else did that cutthroat later on down the road?
Oh, gosh, I guess a bunch of people.
Well, think about the Dead Man.
Dead Man, sure. Yeah. Maybe even Savage, I think, might have did it every now and then.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was others, but I'm pretty sure I was the first one, wasn't I?
I think so. I think you did it before. I mean, you're the first one that I can recall doing it. If other guys, there's longtime fans here in this chat. If you guys remember too. Yep, I see a John Wood mess, know all about him. But Arn, I think, was the first that did that. Darren, I'm going to ask another Darren question. He wants to know, he said, if there's time, RVD had some great Stan the Lariat Hansen stories. Do you have any Stan Hansen stories?
I was never around Stan very much. I might have been in the locker room with him 2 or 3 times. And I know he wrestled Luger on one show where he spit the chaw.
Oh, yeah, the dip.
All over legs.
Yeah.
I like to throw it up on that one. But he was mostly, Stan would do TV to get his exposure, and then he was a Japan guy. And he was over there most of the time when everything was red hot here. So
blind as a bat too, right? In the wrestling ring, that's always what they said.
You want a horror story? You want a picture? Him pulling that rubber thing up and squinting across the ring as he takes off to knock your head off.
God,
That's my version of a nightmare.
that's a wake up call you don't want coming at you.
Oh,
A
yeah.
locomotive.
Death is imminent, and you got just a few seconds to prepare for it.
Hawkeye Mash has a fun question I want to get to. He said, Arn, what is your personal Mount Rushmore of wrestling? This is your personal pick, your reasons. Doesn't matter what everybody says, the popular in this. If you had 4 wrestlers to put on a Mount Rushmore that you enjoyed their career, who would those 4 guys be?
Are we based on, is this contributions? Is this be whoever was the most over?
To me, it's your first 4 guys you think of when you think of all-time favorite wrestlers for you.
Well, you have to go Flair. You have to. Anybody that doesn't give Hogan credit for changing the marketing and the way people view the business at that time, you have to go there. I think you got to put Ricky Steamboat. Because he was just, and seeing his special
this is your Rushmore. This is so you pick who you want.
Yeah. Was so incredible. That 4th spot.
Steamboat, Flair, Hogan.
I guess just because of, and to this day he's given credit for this contribution, selling Ricky Morton.
Wow. I'm sitting here thinking, will he say Undertaker or Shawn Michaels or Ricky Morton?
Well,
I know you were a Kurt Hennig fan too.
Well, yeah, and they were dominant. I mean, how do you not put an Undertaker on every single list? But it's just a different slant of what did, sure. I mean, here's a guy, Ricky Morton, who looked 12 years old, but he would bring emotion into his selling in a match that no matter who the heels were, they had heat. And the fact that they were pounding on Ricky Morton and the way he reeled the audience in and had them, just ready to come over the rail, grandmothers ready to come over the rail with the cane and help him. He was something special. And today, if you ask a veteran, who's your number 1 pick for the best salesman in the business? Ricky wasn't a power guy. He was the salesman. And it, to me, when young kids ask me, what would be your advice to a young guy right now that's trying to make his way in the business, and I always tell them, work on your selling, because without that, we have nothing. If we don't sell for each other, we have absolutely nothing to build a match or anything else on.
Without selling, there is no story, right?
There is nothing. There is no story.
Guys, we're at 58 minutes. The next 2 super chats, you will be our final 2 questions of the night. Arn, while I wait for our last 2 super chats, I want to talk about the book real quick. Okay, because I want to make sure that everyone here, you guys want to stick around for this before I do the last 2 super chat questions for this week's show. We have got our hands. You guys all remember the Kickstarter campaign when they were offering the hardcover edition of Arn's book? It's this copy that I have right here. Hardcover, nice. If you get this, you could get it inside, real nice autograph, whether you want it on the page or whatever. It's beautiful. And I was talking to Dirk Manning, who is a part of the Kickstarter campaign. And he said, Paul, with One True Sport and the launch and the store that you have, we found some exclusive vault copies that we're not allowed to sell retail that are hardback edition. Would you like these to be able to have for your fans at onetruesport.com? I said, Dirk, I want them. I want to get my hands on them for our fans of Arn Anderson. He said, these are what we call the vault copies. They're the last of its kind. Retailers are not allowed to sell them because we only did it for the Kickstarter campaign. So what I'm asking all of you to do, they're not on the store yet, but keep your eyes peeled. We'll announce it here on the show. if you were not able to get one of the hardback, really nice copies of Arn's comic book, which are just great copies if you want to get them autographed too at some point, stay tuned, because on One True Sport, we are going to be offering the last of the hardback. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to not be able to get the paperback when you see Arn or when they restock, whatever. But I'm talking about these limited hardback editions that were only from Kickstarter. So I just wanted to throw that commercial out there to you. I'm going to check the super chat. Don't see any super chats in the key there. But Arn, how beautiful? What's the feedback that you're hearing on these comic books?
Two things: the artwork is awesome. They're really enjoying it, and most people are sitting down reading it in one reading. They're reading the whole book before they set it down, which is cool. It means they're enjoying it.
Without a doubt, yes, Darren, I do like the hard copies of the book. I'm telling you, it's very nice, fits on the bookshelf very well, and it's top notch. And yes, John, we'll make sure once we have them up to get them delivered to England. If that's the case, we'll work with our shipper for sure once we get them on the site. Guys, I think that's going to do it. That's going to wrap us up for this Ask Arn. Arn, anything else you want to mention before we get out of here for the final edition?
Just want to say thank you to everybody that has stayed with the family, that made the switch over to YouTube and to One True Sport. We're very blessed to have you guys part of the family, and we're very thankful of you. Let's just keep having a good time, and at least, during our time together, let's lighten it up and do the best we can to have a few smiles.
I love it. I love it. It's so much fun. Everybody now in the chat, you're a great promo, Arn, Tony, F&G, John Woodmass, much love, brothers. Darren Staley, thank you all so much. My favorite wrestler since 1985. Just everybody pouring into the chat right now. Thanking you so much for really, as I always like to joke and say, taking us around your virtual living room, Arn, for an opportunity just to have fun, tell some stories, talk about wrestlers that we got to watch, and you get to give us an inside perspective on, and just have a lot of fun every other week here for an hour. Guys, we're going to be back after the July 4th holiday, so you can catch Arn and I again on Tuesday, July 9th at 6 Eastern. We'll take a step back into Arn's career and do the episode then on July 9th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars for that event. And we're going to do a little bit more interactive, I would say, for that episode in terms of polling you guys for some questions on the material that we do, really trying to make it a live interactive experience as we cover another month in Arn's history. And then we'll go back again and do Ask Arn towards the end of the month. So really excited for all of you. Eddie Prather, thank you. CG Artis, thank you. Paul and Arn, love you guys. Great podcast from Scott George. It's Uncensored 95, to Andrew Hermis's point, our research guy that we'll be covering. What I will tell you is stick around One True Sport, because at 8 o'clock Eastern, Arn, in just about an hour from now, guess who's coming on the channel live on One True Sport?
Ooh.
From the Dangerous Alliance. She's been on our show, Medusa. And buddy, you want to talk about some hot takes and some hilarity, and her co-host is Andrew Hermis. Man, those two are a dynamic power couple that is going to take the podcasting and YouTube world by storm. If you haven't checked out their first episode, check it out. Medusa ain't afraid. And neither is Andrew. And we need that personality here on this network. So you're in for a treat. Guys, we thank you all so much. On behalf of the Enforcer, AA, Arn Anderson, throw him up, Arn. This is Paul Bromwell, and we'll see you right back here on July 9th, right here exclusively on the Four Horsemen Network and One True Sport.